Hi there, hope you guys are doing well. This is Tim and I'm coming back at you with a fresh new video, and today we are doing another analysis. Now you might maybe can guess where this is from. So yes, we are doing the fairy godmother sequence of Disney's classic Cinderella. Now this scene is absolutely wonderful, and what I love is, and you can already tell from those characters how they're reacting, is this scene is magical. It is so wonderful, it is so nice, it is a key ingredient of Disney iconography, and it provides this happiness and warmth and supplements the whole idea of dreams coming true. This is a wonderful, beautiful scene. And now, more specifically, why do we love the fairy godmother in the scene? Well, a little bit of backstory context is that this is right after Cinderella had her dress and skirt violently torn up by her evil stepsisters and forced by them and her evil stepmother to not go to the ball and stay behind. She has no sense of liberty, no sense of freedom, and has a breakdown. She runs out into this courtyard crying at the bench, basically spouting that she has lost faith. There is no hope left. Who should come up than the fairy godmother to basically cure her of all her remedies and saying, you've been through enough, it's time to make you happy again. So we love this character because she is helping another character we love when she hit her lowest point. On top of it, not just her emotions, but also her motions are why we see her as this loving, gentle character. She's gently rubbing her head and just saying, you know, dear child, it's okay, it's fine. Now, the other thing, like Mary Poppins, is that she isn't this same-leveled emotion character where she's this, oh, everything's going to be okay, it's alright. She does change up her emotion where right here, she gets a bit firm, like Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins is not this wonderful, happy, loving character from beginning to end. She can be firm and forceful and say, something needs to be done. Like, you might not like this, but I am doing this for your own benefit. So the fairy godmother here is going, listen, you are in a bad spot. I need to pick you up, not just emotionally, but as we'll see right here, literally pick her up, get her back on her feet. The other thing of why we can see the fairy godmother as a very gentle, loving character is her clothing. Clothing is very important with a character. We already know with Cinderella that her ripped up clothing is a reflection of her mental state of feeling ripped up and shredded. So what we get with the fairy godmother is that she has this very light fabric clothing. Her hood doesn't really have too much overlap. It's very soft. It has a little bit of point, but most of her outline is curvature. You get these small little delays in her cloak right there. This is a very gentle, loving character. Everything about her is soft and cushiony, and it's what this character needs to feel happy, and it's what gives us warmth. Now, something I want to go over, and it's the main meat of what I want to talk about with the fairy godmother, is that she has, it's kind of what we just talked about before where she went into a bit of firmness, is that she has emotional changes throughout. I'll play the scene real quick, but you'll see that she has a lot of emotional changes from not just happiness and caretaking, but from confusion, minor frustration, pondering and observing. So what you'll see is that throughout the scene is that it's not just these changes of emotions, but how rapidly she changes the emotion and the escalation of that emotion until we get to this point where she remembers where the magic wand is and the issue is resolved because she remembered where it is. So let's back this up and let's go through. So what we're going to go through first, when this wants to fully back up, there we are. Now first off, let's listen, again, cushiony and softness. This is a very squashed face. This is a very plump, lovable character. Now remember this, that from this front view, we get this very cushioned face. We get to see these giant cheeks of curvature, and she's happy. She's rolled up her sleeves, ready to help out. Watch this. There's the magic wand, and suddenly, it's not there. And we get this face of surprise. We don't really see much of the curvature of her face anymore. We see these lines right above the brow showing the skin's being pushed and kind of this wild-eyed expression. It almost has a bit of gauntness to it. The fingers and hands kind of very, tense up a bit. So she is in this a lot more tense pose where what she wanted and what she expected isn't happening. Now I want you to watch the brows and the eyes throughout this scene. Is that it'll go from frustration to smoothness, back to frustration, back to smoothness. And I'll break it down a little bit more right there. But she's trying to go back and forth between frustration of looking for the magic wand, but also trying to remain calm for Cinderella, saying, well, I don't know where it is, but I'll look for it. She looks through her sleeves, kind of rags it out a bit, looks under. So she'll have this kind of furrowed expression to a calmer expression, back to furrowed almost immediately, back to calm, back to furrowed, back to calm, looking over back at Cinderella, and we know she's trying to stay calm with Cinderella because she's making eye contact and keeping it soft, and then back to furrowed again. She is very stumped at this, and she is wildly going back and forth between being frustrated that she can't find the magic wand and trying to remain honest, calm, and unintentionally vulnerable to Cinderella, saying, I don't know where it went. So then she starts bending down. She's gone from the sleeves to shaking to bending down. Maybe I dropped it. And we have this little transition where she goes back to calmness. We get to the point where she doesn't know where it is. She's checked the usual spots. She's now throwing her whole body into the reaction. And that's pretty much, as far as her looking for the magic wand, this is the climax of this little sequence where she is throwing her whole body into it. She is shaking out her entire clothes. It makes the smoothness of her clothes a little bit harder edge. You'll even see, maybe not so much at this part, but you'll see the overlap in her cap right here a lot more stiff. It doesn't flop around as much because she has this very stiff emotion until we get to this point where she's really stressed out to realizing where it is, and we get a wonderful emotional take right there. In case you don't know what that is, that's an emotional take is when you are in one emotion and you swing your body and you change the emotion. Look how happy she is. And again, just like the acting here of just her flipping her hand and whoop. And even right there, she has this change of emotion where she's content. I know where it is. Pops it out, still being careful. Hey, look at that. That's the beauty of this scene where it's this emotion overload of joy after the negative emotional climax for Cinderella, other than later when, the glass slipper breaks, etc., etc. But for this scene, this is a very climactic moment, and we're getting that emotional happiness overdrive. But we still get a lot of back and forth emotions with the characters. Now, something I love talking about, again, and even here, we get a little emotion where she has that firmness. She's not, she's very cushiony, fluffy, but she's not all pillows and sunshine. She's got a little bit of an edge on her. That's like the ultimate sass pose, in my opinion. But what I love, capping this off with her emotion, and you'll see it right here, where, again, we get into the sequence where she's expecting, like, oh, she's going to take care of the dress, and she goes for the pumpkin and turning the mice into horses, etc., etc. But what I love here is when she's like, okay, now what were the words? There we go, into the bippity-boppity-boo sequence. And even right there, Disney cannot help itself just having her change her emotion. It's wonderful. It works great. Now, what I love here, and in case you don't know this is wonderful psychology. So she's looking upwards, which there's 3 zones where your eyes are looking that determine what you're psychologically thinking, and then also left and right way you're thinking. Now, what's interesting here, the 3 zones is that when you're looking up, you're typically trying to think about something. When you normally forget about something, you look up in order to try and remember something that, cognition. When you look left and right, you're typically trying to remember something that you heard. But then what is she trying to do? She's trying to remember the words and looks down. Now, the bottom sector is for the mouth. You look up for your head, you look side to side for your ears, and then you look down for your mouth. So she's trying to remember the words. Now, typically people are right-handed, so when we're more negative or can't really get into the zone, we look to the left side, because if we're right-hand dominant, when we're thinking negatively, we look to the left. So I actually have not looked at the scene. I don't know if she's right-handed. I believe she is. Yeah, she is, because when she pulled out the magic wand, she used her right hand, which we can assume she's right-handed. So she's a little bit pessimistic here, trying to remember the words. But what happens when she remembers it? She looks to the bottom right and then remembers it, because the right side is positivity. It's remembrance. So it's funny how she goes from negative to positive and then remembers what it is. And then, funny enough, the wand doesn't work and she has to shake it in order to bring it to life. So there's just so many very tiny but wonderful moments of the fairy godmother and just changing up her emotion. Alrighty, well that'll about wrap it up for this video. So again, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't, leave a like and a comment if you feel like it, I don't know. If anything, demand for better content if this did not meet your satisfaction and needs. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!